Hi, welcome to JQuery session. In this session, we will be looking on some functions and CSS. Let's start. What is the objective of this session? To make you understand the uses of JQuery functions and the selectors. These selectors may behave differently based on their argument. It may behave like a getter or setter if there is argument or not. For example, if I write dot some selector dot method name, it means it is used for getting the information. If I pass the argument, it means that it is used for setting the argument. Let's say some of the functions and the selectors in this session. So let's begin with HTML functions. So what it does actually, if I want to have some element from the matched element or the set of an HTML content, I can just use .html function. And if I want to set some HTML content, I can use .html, pass the argument. Maybe the argument could be HTML string or the function. Let's see it more in detail. So get HTML content. If you see that, it will return the first match element. So suppose there is like multiple match element is found, and there's there are the same behavior kind of, but it will return only the first match element. It doesn't accept argument, if as you already seen that. So how it returns you the HTML content? If you see in the browser property, there is a function, there is a property called inner HTML. If you remember in the JavaScript, suppose you want to set some value for particular ID, you just do the document dot get element by ID dot inner HTML equal to the whatever the value you want to set it. So it works on the same way. Let's see how HTML works. So suppose I have a div and I want to see whatever is having this. So just I want to see whatever is there in the div. I just write some in that. I write some span. So this is span, and I'm just going to do, when I run, I just want to alert. What I want to alert is, I want to alert the div value. So I will take the div tag and quotes, sorry, div tags in code, and I want to see the HTML of it. So if I want to run it, let's see what it returns. So it returns the inside of the div, the inner HTML of the div. And you can see here in under the div it is span. Suppose I want to see what is there in span. So what exactly it gives? This is span, the content of the span. So you can see dot html can give you the content inner HTML of the, and suppose I want to set some value. This is not a span, and I want to see. Okay, so it is setting the value. This is not a span. So you can see that the value is changed to this is not a span. So using that, I set the value of this span as a new value. So this way you can see that the same function worked as a setter also. So I use one of the HTML string argument to set the value. You can use the function to do the same. If you want to use it, the function can be used that way. Let's see the next function, which is called CSS function. So This function is same, it has the getter and the setter property. If you want to know what is the value for a particular CSS property, you can actually give the .css and the property name. And just as I told, if you want to set the property, you can use set that property name and the value. So let's see in detail. So get properties, get CSS property is like consistent way of using CSS function. Let's interpret the CSS DOM formatting multiple. So and there is like, if you see, there is a different way. If we write background color dash color, so and we write background color also. So there is both way CSS can, jQuery CSS can understand it. But yeah, there will be some kind of limitation that it may not work on all the browsers. So let's see the example of CSS. If I want to get the CSS, so suppose I'll just write some style over here. So let's define a class. Suppose I define a class is, suppose, red. So what is this red color? Red. So I define a color red, and I just want to put that class over here is a red. If just close this and see what is it's coming. So you can see the class is applied to particular span. Now I want to see what is the, just delete this. I want to see what is the CSS property color of the span. So what I will do is I'll just take the span first. So you took it as span. Now I want to see the color. So what I need to pass, the property name. I'm not passing any value to set. So I want to see that the color. So what I'm doing here, I want to see for this span what is the CSS. As here is only one span, so I'm not using the ID or something. I'm just using a tag to find out the color. Let's save it and see exactly. So what is something wrong here? And you can see it returns into the RGB color 25500. I suppose I want to change the color. Is there any changes? Let's see. Is it's changing the color. So here you can see that the color is getting changed and the CSS is returning the same. So this is what we are trying to get it from the CSS. Now I want to set the property of the CSS. So suppose we'll go back to the same example and we'll try to set the property. So here I was just getting the color. So now I will set it back to red. So here you can see it is right now blue, and I set it to black, red. So now you can see it has changed to red. So this way you actually, the DOM creation time you have given as a class with the color, okay, is, blue, as this is the color which I set as blue, but at the time of I can change it to red. Just I'll change it to red, and it is changed to red. So this way you can see that the same CSS, just passing the argument, you can actually set the value. Suppose I want to set multiple values for the same CSS. So I have, so what I will do is I will make it key value pair, and I will pass the key color as red and something background color as green. So I just want to set the background color as blue. So I'm just trying to set the, I don't want the alert. So this is the green. There's some mistake here. Okay. Now I want to change it. So the color becomes the red and I set the background as a green. So you can see that with the same CSS function, I can pass multiple properties at a time to change the value. Suppose, and this you can use as a function also. So if I remove this and in this I just pass the property, suppose I want the property and using the function, so I can write, if you see, I just want to alert to show you what exactly these values will return. You can use whatever you want to use it, so it will loop through. There is only one, and what is the color of the property. So if you see, this is I is showing as the index and n is the value of the this CSS property. So if there is multiple span, it will actually return, I just take blue, it is not there, but even though I can take it and it has to come as undefined. So it's like there is no color, so it is showing as RGB 00. Sorry, so it will actually give you the color property which is not set, so it will show as a no color. So if I change or create a new class which is blue and just change the to, and then just see exactly what it is returning. So first one is 255, the second one index 1 is the 00255. So you can see that using the function, if you want to change based on the index, suppose I want to change the first value, first index span color, I can change it using the function. This was all about the CSS. Thank you very much.